Oh God. No! Welcome back, everybody, to Trilby's Notes. I am the Blues 32, and this time we're not going to die. Oops. Heh, heh, heh. Sibahan was out cold but uninjured. She would probably be safe on her bed while I continued my investigation. Look, Sibahan? I consider myself lucky that I was not as skilled in unarmed combat as I thought. I don't know, man. That was a double kick right to the face. Look, bag. It was a perfectly ordinary student's backpack for carrying books and personal possessions. The sun is right in my eyes right now, and I really wish I had bothered to get curtains for my sliding door up on my apartment. Search bag. Under the circumstances, Sibahan probably wouldn't mind. There were a few textbooks, a half-empty water bottle, and a large folder marked O'Malley Family History. This, I decided, was my quarry. I flipped through the pages until I reached the information relevant to the 18th century and read my discoveries out loud for some reason. The Liverpool-based O'Malley Shipping Company ran for 3 generations of the family in the mid to late 18th century until the loss of one of their clippers drove the company to bankruptcy. The owner at the time, Jacob O'Malley, placed the blame somewhat irrationally on a shipping crate which family legend alleged to be haunted and that had been on the ship at the time. There were a number of tales of bizarre events surrounding the crate, and the story of the crate's origin is no less mysterious. It goes that a strange young man came to a carpenter at Liverpool's dockyard with a very expensive-looking harpsichord, which he insisted be smashed up and the wood used for whatever purpose the carpenter desired. He refused to leave until the instrument had been utterly broken into its component parts in front of his eyes, and the wood sent to be made into crates for O'Malley Shipping. When pressed for his name, the man identified himself as one Jack Frehorn. The Rooms of Jack Frehorn, July 28th, A.D., 1778. So what trifle have you been wasting your father's money on now, Jack? What does it look like? It looks like a virginal. A harpsichord, actually, in the Flemish style. Quite old. Quite expensive. Well, I suppose I should be grateful that something is distracting you from the occult frauds. Excuse me. I fear you may be speaking too soon, my friend. Oh God, I should have known. You and your silly obsession. So what devilry inhabits this magnificent instrument? The instrument as a whole is, for the most part, untainted by the ether realm. But its keys are what spark my interest. Unusually, they have been carved for a centuries-old English oak. And what's the interesting part? I will not be disheartened by that sharp tongue of yours. The wood has gone through many incarnations before being incorporated into this device. Items of furniture, building material. In fact, just over 200 years ago, it was part of a wall. A wall of a certain inn on a well-traveled road in Wales. The unicorn? I'm so pleased you remember. I could hardly forget the way you've been obsessing quite heartily over it of late. Your correspondents persist in filling our heads with rubbish about ghosts and demons. I count myself very lucky to have tracked down even a small piece of that hostelry. I know I've already told you some of the wonderful stories attached to it. And this instrument has had its fair share of mysterious happenings. Ooh, the usual batch of strange noises, sudden madness, and inexplicable deaths. Cease sense, my friend. This curiosity of yours for all things ungodly has no doubt already befouled your immortal soul. You are a fine fellow, Wilbur, but you have not a drop of romance in your body. Now stop browbeating me for my inquiring mind, and let us take dinner. That night, Jack was stirred from his bed by the sound of music emanating from his new instrument. His first thought was anger, mostly because the harpsichord was an antique, never intended to be played. But then he listened to the haunting, melancholy tune and felt his stomach roll inexplicably with fear. "Who's down there? Wilbur, is that you?" "Look." Jack Frehorn was a man of modest means and desired little for comfort. The only pieces of furniture to speak of were a bed and a desk. Get in bed. Jack doubted that he could have taken that with him. Go to sleep. Jack would never be able to sleep while that music was playing through the house. Cover ears. Look, desk. Jack's desk was covered untidily in letters, notes, and papers he had been studying lately. A flintlock pistol given to Jack by his father lay gathering dust upon a top pile of correspondence. Take flintlock. Jack wasn't close enough. Take flintlock. Jack took the gun with him to confront the intruder. Save. Stick gun in mouth. Shoot self. Jack saw no reason to engage in violence. I'm doing him a favor. Look, man. Look, Ma. No hands. The tall man was playing a haunting melody on the harpsichord. Except for his hands, his body was completely still. Look. Hands? Jack decided he looked as normal as ever. Look. Harpsichord. The absurdly expensive harpsichord was reportedly partially constructed from the wood of the notorious Frehorn Inn. Had Jack inadvertently welcomed into his house the evil of that place? Talk to man. Jack knew that any attempt to interact with the creature could spell disaster. Jack could not take a step further because he had realized with a lurch that he recognized the dark figure that sat at the keys. He had read of this strange entity that reoccurred frequently in stories surrounding the Unicorn Inn and the objects that were later constructed from its wood. And he knew with absolute certainty that the tall man would destroy him were he not destroyed first. Destroy tall man. Shoot. Shoot tall man. You won't take me, demon. Ouch. Wilbur? No. Oh God, no! But I could have sworn. You. I know you. You have... Oh God. Please forgive me, your Majesty, for my transgressions. I am a worthless, craven fool, not worthy a second of your precious time. I beg you, spare me. I will redeem myself for my offense. I will be yours forever, my body, mind, and soul. Thank you, my lord. Thank you. Identified himself as one Jack Frehorn. This may well have been the same Jack Frehorn who went on to form a bizarre religious cult. A depraved group of paganist worshippers who were spoken with much derision by conventional society. With my latest flashback, my knowledge of the history of the cursed wood gained another step. Before the crate had been a harpsichord, and sometime before the harpsichord it had been some kind of hostelry in Wales. An inn called the Unicorn. Why did that ring a bell somewhere in my recent memory? I had definitely seen something in the Clansbourne Hotel that was linked to the place. But where? Sibylhane? Look, Sibylhane. I stared blankly. Look paper. Victim 3, Frehorn. The third man who desired judgment was Frehorn, who had brought from those who made luxuries with the wood that was the prince's soul. The prince came and struck down the lover of Frehorn, and Frehorn knew the name of the king. I'm sorry? Was not aware they were lovers. It wasn't implied anywhere. And Frehorn said, I know you now, O prince who was the arrogant man, and I anticipate your wish, and I will devote myself to spreading the teachings you have brought me and the love of our king. And the prince was satisfied, and Frehorn called all those who would listen, and they formed an order of blessed agonies that would work to redeem the follies of the men of technology. I don't recall that being what he said. It was something along the lines of, oh God, don't kill me, no, 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 I'll do anything you say, please don't, oh God, no, please. So, it wasn't exactly something so, refined as, I know you now, O Prince. Well, we know where to go now, don't we? Yes, sir. Look? Okay, good. Just checking. What a surprise. I took another pill and waited for the anxiety to lift, but it did not. To my unending concern, I realized that the decay of the alternate hotel had spread to either to me or the pills, and they no longer worked. I had to find another way to restore their effect, or at least another method of calming myself. Meditate? Do yoga. Whittle. Well, I can't think of any... What? Damn it, Well, I can't think of anything else that I can do that would help him relax. Linkman? Ah, crap. Hold on a second. I'm going to restore... read through some of that again, because I was skipping way too much there. That was inexcusable. I apologize. Really wish the enter key was the only thing that would skip dialogue instead of just about any button you press. Including the arrow keys. Take pill. From somewhere to the west, I heard the familiar sound of a door being unlocked. Linkman? Linkman, wait! Open door. Look, walls. There was an interesting imprint of blood on the north wall, suggesting that some flayed victim had been hurled against it. Look, corpse. A horribly tormented soul was still lying on the central counter, limbs arranged oddly from the spasms of agony. Look, counters. The preparation counters were splattered with the blood of the poor wretch occupying the central surface. What had once been a kitchen was now some kind of torture room. I found myself wondering whether it was used for extracting information or merely to entertain the alternate hotel's hellish proprietor. Probably the latter. Open door? The emergency door refused to budge. It appeared to be jammed. Open door. Save. Come on, you knew I was gonna do it. Throw meat. Look, bugs. The insects were too busy fighting each other for a mouthful of the rancid flesh to notice me. Look, corpse. At least 2 individuals had met with the sticky ends down here. One of them had been almost completely picked clean by the beetles. The other I noticed was heavily decayed except for its hand, which was fresh and pink. I wondered if this had something to do with the puddle of water it was laying in. Look, water. In the far corner of the room was a puddle of water created by drips from above. It had a curious color to it, and the drops seemed to glow with their own illumination. The liquid was having a strange effect on a nearby corpse. Drink water. Alright, wait. Use pills. Wait. Fill bottle with water. Whatever. Drink water. It was almost as if the water was drawing me to it, not like a scrabbling thing in my mind like the chisel or the painting, but more like a beckoning siren. I couldn't help myself. I crouched down and dipped my hand in. It felt uncommonly refreshing, and brought an amount up to my lips, my unhygienic surroundings forgotten. As a pleasant feeling of simultaneous coolness and warmth spread from my stomach, I realized that the water had some sort of rejuvenating effect. I had no explanation for this, but at the time I didn't care. I was beginning to feel in the back of my mind the familiar sensation that indicated a reality shift, so I swiftly scooped a few drops of the liquid into my pill bottles, shaking it throughout the remaining pills. The hotel cellar was lit by a single spotlight, and seemed almost completely bare, but for some dusty cardboard crates and a wine rack. Look, wine rack. The wine rack was severely understocked. The hoteler had no doubt been meaning to refill it. Only one bottle remained, a dusty green one. Crap. Take bottle. I saw no reason to take it. You took it because I bloody well told you to. Questioning me. Open fridge. I had no interest in the hotel's food storage. Well, you should. Probably haven't eaten in a long time. And my cat says meow, as cats are wont to do. Open door. Open door. My mistake, I was thinking of a different part. Open door one more time. Oh, Terry, it's you. Have you seen Sylvain? I was about to ask you that. What did you do to the girl? I hope you don't intend to seduce her away from my service. But I need you to understand. You and I and Sylvain are all in critical danger. There is something evil in this hotel and it's closing in fast. Mr. Trilby, I've been over this hotel several times. Apart from us, there is absolutely nothing here. Please keep your fairy stories in the playroom where they belong. Punch a bed for being a dick. Save. Touch sign. I'd rather you didn't handle the exhibits, please, Terry. Ask about sign. Ask about unicorn. Ask about Sibohane. Ask about stuff. Ask a bed about Sibohane. Oh, whatever. Ask a bed about unicorn. Do you know anything about an inn called the Unicorn? Ah, you noticed my shingle. I picked it up as a curiosity at an antique fair a couple of years ago. Dates all the way back to the Elizabethan period, from what I understand. But I can't find a buyer for the damn thing. Don't suppose you have any clients who might go for it? Possibly. Do I have your permission to examine it? Of course. I may have to touch it to assess the texture. By all means do so. As long as you're not going to test its strength over your knee or anything. I don't think I'm going to have to go that far. The shingle's design was a simple one of a unicorn's head in half profile, painted with the average ability on a dark oak backing. As I pressed my fingertips to it, however, the design seemed to extrude from its backing like a hologram, and seemed to draw closer until my vision was filled with wood grain and mediocre brushstrokes. I could vaguely detect the professor speaking to me and on the very edge of hearing, but by the time I realized it was already gone. Somewhere in Wales, July 28th, AD 1581. Noticing a pattern with this date? Owen Somerset, a traveling merchant, was on his way back to his wife and family in London, having concluded some business dealings in there. Caught suddenly by a summer storm, he spied an inn by the side of the road and marveled at his good fortune. Yeah, well, we'll see about that. Faith, 'tis an evil storm that blights the sky tonight. Aye, I must have the Almighty on my side to find myself so close to an inn as it broke out. Aye, perhaps. The innkeeper seemed quite taciturn, but Owen was in a good mood and was determined for it not to leave him. It was probably too late to continue riding, even if the storm cleared. Owen decided to inquire after a room for the night. Ask innkeeper about room. You're more polite to move closer to the innkeeper to talk to him. Well, he can bite me. Ask about room. Ask innkeeper about room. Good evening, sir. Would it be possible to secure a bed for the night? Be a wiser man than I. Go from this place and never return. What? There is a curse upon this inn. I will not have an innocent doomed to the same fate as I. Insist. Ask a innkeeper about curse. I have plenty of gold to pay for my board. The devil cannot be bought off, my friend. What devil? What is the nature of this curse? The inn was built by my father 20 years ago. From the wood of a fallen oak he stumbled upon on an island north of here. He noticed human bones scattered around, but did not heed them. This inn has been a curse on our bloodline ever since. Madness and death claim those who stay here. This time last year it claimed my father. Soon I am certain it shall claim me. Ask innkeeper about room again. So why do you remain? I do not believe in fleeing from the mistakes of the past. If the Almighty wills that my family must pay for our errors, then this I accept. But I would not see another suffer for our sins. Leave now before the shadows take you. Ask about innkeeper about room. Sir, I have little patience for fables, and even less for riding after sundown in the middle of a downpour. Lend me your room, and I shall take the responsibility of my own well-being. You will insist? Not only will I insist, sir, but I will pay whatever price you ask. Go, then, take the room upstairs, and if you remain by the morn, you shall pay nothing at all. Thank you. Open door. Sleep. Owen wasn't close enough to the bed. Well, he can't walk on his own. He has to have me do everything for him. Owen laid himself down, intending only to test the bed's softness, but in his exhaustion he quickly succumbed to sleep. In the early hours of the morning, something jolted Owens from his slumber. A piercing sound? No. A piercing smell. Look, smoke. Nothing seemed to be burning in the bedroom, so the smoke had to be coming from downstairs. Take bed sheet. Take sheet. Owen took the sheet with him, presumably for comfort. Wear sheet like a cape. He already seems to have a cape, actually. Look, fire. A blaze had been set before the front door. By whom? The innkeeper? Use sheet to put out fire. Smother fire with sheet. What in God's name? Oh, God. It's him! The innkeeper! What kind of... Who could have... That looked like an owl. Once again I returned disoriented from my vision. I was closing in on the source of the madness. The innkeeper had said that the wood came from a tree on an island. Could it have been Clansborough Island? Given what I was seeing, it seemed a valid, if worrying, possibility. Besides that, it seemed I had no other leads, so what would I do? I was determined not to let the trail end there, and if there was just a single clue... How's this for a clue? Look. Paper. Trilby, I know you are following a trail. Go to the roof if you wish to proceed. Linkman. Victim 2. The innkeeper. The second man who desired judgment was the innkeeper, who had bought the wood of the tree and built from it his house. The prince came to him and his guest, and he struck the innkeeper down, and the innkeeper knew the name of the king. And the prince turned to the innkeeper's guest and said, You I shall not let live, for once before have I made this warning, and still my soul aches with what is done to the wood that is my soul, and I will spare no man who injures me in this way. And the innkeeper's guest knew the name of the king. I think that'll do it for today. More people have learned the name of the king. We really haven't learned the name of the king, although I think it has something to do with that name that was written on the wall. In fact, I'm certain of it. Because. Anyway, next time, we'll try and get to the roof. I'm the Blues 32. This is Trilby's Notes. TTFN. Ta-ta for now.